It's not as hard as it used to be.
In these fields, Chuck Tackett knows what he's doing. He's farmed for 50+ years now.
We're not masters of anything we do, but we do understand what's going on and how to make it happen.
But it took him some time to learn how to grow hemp.
How much of this was trial and error?
At one point, everything was trial and error, you know.
Tackett started with just 21 mother plants. Now he's raising several different genetics of hemp. The task on this day, cloning. An effort that at times can fill this 300-foot-long greenhouse.
Everything we have is started from a clone, everything. We don't do seed.
Tackett has learned what works and what processors want from his plants.
You need to produce what they're looking for, because if you're not, you'll be left behind. And you have to make that change, whatever that change is, you have to meet that change.
Folks in the industry say innovation and creativity are key as Kentucky farmers, processors, and manufacturers try to make up for lost time. But just in the past few years, the budding hemp industry has experienced some growing pains.
And I think it's so important that we continue to approach this curious crop with some caution, and also to make sure that people understand the risk involved with a crop whose markets are still being developed.
Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles says he sees what's happening now as a market correction. This year, the State Department of Ag has licensed 445 hemp growers and 140 processors and handlers. That's down from 970 growers and 178 processors last year. It reflects a national trend.
Bringing back hemp isn't exactly like turning the ignition key on from an old engine. There's a lot of things that are very different from when my great-grandfather grew the crop in World War II.
Quarles pushed for changes to the USDA's final rule on hemp production, but he also says for the industry to continue to grow, the FDA needs to provide some regulatory framework for CBD products.
We know after several years that hemp is not a crop for every farmer, but if there's ever a home for industrial hemp in the United States, it's going to be right here in Kentucky.
Still, Quarles says he's encouraged by Kentucky processors, reporting $130 million in gross product sales last year.
It won't take long, but once people understand that hemp is not this scratchy, itchy, smoke your t-shirt product, but it's actually a high-performance product that sits in the highest quality materials, is highly sustainable, it's a wonderful food source, people will very quickly understand this is what it is.
Ecofiber in Georgetown is trying to overcome that stigma. So they try to showcase hemp in things like seating, artificial turf, wallpaper, even clothing. What do you see as the future of hemp?
Hemp is a wonderful thing. Our goal is to have hemp in literally everything that people do, whether it be your food, whether it be your medicine, or whether it be your day-to-day things that you live with.
To get to that point, Eric Wong says the industry needs hemp classification standards so manufacturers, processors, and growers can all be on the same page. As the market matures, Wong looks to another signature industry here, bourbon, as his vision for branding Kentucky's hemp crop.
People are convinced Kentucky bourbon is the best bourbon in the world. And I think in due course it's important we'll find Kentucky hemp will be the best source of hemp for the highest quality products in the world.
Back on his farm, Chuck Tackett and crew are working hard.
Leroy loves the hemp. He likes to come through, especially in the wintertime when the mother, he likes to munch on it.
Even without Leroy's help, Tackett plans to cut back on production. He says not only was demand down during the pandemic, but too much supply was left over from 2 years ago. In 2020, farmers reported growing 5,000 acres of hemp. In 2019, that number was 26,500 acres. Long-term, though, he believes the future for hemp is ripe for the picking.
There's just, gosh, there's so much you can do with this plant. I think that you'll find that the farmer that has stuck with it, has rode this through the hard side and whatnot, they'll rebound.
In the meantime, Tackett says he's still learning.
Evidently, the CBG market's a little bit stronger than the CBD right now, so.
Lessons.
It's just trying to keep up with the times.
In these fields.
And you need to.
And far beyond.
Because time will pass you by.